We had planned this trip for weeks, just a basic weekend out in the woods. We wanted to hike up to Eagle's Peak before heading back home for work on Monday. We looked at the maps online. We checked the weather 3 times. We figured we had everything covered. By the time we were near the mountain, it was already getting dark. I glanced at my phone. The signal was very weak, and most of the time it was gone completely. We weren't shocked though, we had kind of anticipated that. I looked down at the fuel gauge. The needle was sitting on a quarter tank when we spotted a beat-up gas station at the bottom of Blackwood Hill. We pulled in. We needed to fill up and ask about the trailhead. We stepped out of the car and walked inside. The door creaked and a small bell jingled above my head. The place smelled like dust and old coffee. Behind the counter stood an old man with gray stubble and tired eyes. He didn't look at us at first. He just stood there, one hand resting on the register. The old man paused with his hand over the register. Reaching under the counter, he pulled out a small cloth pouch tied with string. He set it down between us, hitting up the ridge, he asked. His voice was low and dry. "Yay," my friend said, leaning on the glass. "Camping near the peak tonight." The old man paused with his hand over the register. He reached under the counter. He pulled out a small cloth pouch tied with string and set it down between us. "Take this," he said. "What is it?" I asked. "This is a bit of ash," he said. "You might need it." He didn't explain any further. He just stared at the bag for a second before looking up at us. "If you are out there past sunset, stay smart. If you feel like someone very tall is walking behind you, do not run." My friend let out a short laugh. "Wait, what? Someone tall, like a ranger?" "The forest deems running as disrespect," the old man said flatly. He ignored the joke completely and looked me right in the eye. "You just keep your pace." I looked from the pouch back to his face. He did not look like he was pulling a prank. "Okay," I said. "What else?" "No loud music or screaming after dark," he said, sliding our receipt across. "It wants peace." "It wants peace," my friend repeated, raising an eyebrow. "And if you see something staring at you in the middle of the night," the cashier continued, his voice dropping lower, "keep your eyes down." Eye contact is deemed as confrontation. "What are we confronting?" I asked. "Is someone living up there?" The old man did not answer that. He just leaned over the counter, looking right at me. "If you see a dead animal," he said steadily, "leave that area silently. You do not want to disturb someone having a meal." My friend's sarcastic tone was finally slipping. "Look, man," he said, "you are creeping us out. Is there something dangerous up there or not?" The old man tapped his finger on the cloth bag. "That ash," he said, "it is worth one life, only one." He didn't say another word. He just turned around and started wiping a shelf. His back was to us. The conversation was over. We took the bag and went back out to the car. We tried to laugh off the weird cashier as we drove up the mountain, but by midnight, sitting in total silence on Blackwood Hill, neither of us was joking anymore. We had parked near the lower trail to sleep in the car overnight. We planned to tackle the peak in the morning around midnight. Every sound in the woods just stopped. No crickets, no wind, nothing. Then came the breathing. It was heavy, wet, and loud. It was right outside the glass, slowly walking around the car over and over. We remembered what he said about silence, so we froze. We did not talk, we did not move, and we barely breathed until sunrise. The next day, we were stupid enough to keep going. We hiked up to Eagle's Peak anyway, but the climb took way longer than we thought. By the time we started coming back down, the sun was already dropping behind the trees. Twilight hit fast. That heavy silence came right back. Halfway down, a terrible smell hit us. It smelled like raw bloody meat. A few feet off the trail was a half-eaten deer. We remembered the rules and kept our eyes down. We backed away as fast as we could in silence. From the thick brush past the deer, we heard heavy bones snapping in half. Something was eating, and we were only 20 feet away. By the time we made it back near the car, we were exhausted. We were maybe 50 yards away when we saw another deer. It was standing right in the middle of the path under the moon. It did not run when it saw us, it just stood there staring. My friend was relieved to be back near the car. He thought the weird stuff was over, so he pulled out his phone and took a quick picture. He did not use flash, but in that dead silence, the camera click sounded like a gunshot. The deer flinched, but it did not look at us. It stared right past our heads, looking at the dark path behind us. We turned around real slow. Standing 10 feet away was a massive shape in the middle of the trail. At first I thought it was a huge bent man, but as my eyes adjusted, it made no sense. It was tall, twisted, and looked like dark tree bark. It was like a tree that had bent itself into a body and learned to walk. Panic completely took over. My friend screamed, breaking the silence rule. Then we both broke the first rule. We turned and ran. We sprinted for the car with our boots pounding on the dirt. We jumped inside and slammed the door shut. My friend shoved the key into the ignition. The engine turned over fine and idled. But when he slammed his foot on the gas, the car did not budge. The tires just spun in place. "What is wrong with it?" he yelled, stomping on the pedal again. I rolled down my window, stuck my head out, and looked down. Thick wooden vines were wrapped tightly around the back tires and axles. They locked the wheels completely, and they definitely were not there when we parked. "Give me my bag," I shouted, reaching back into the seat. I unzipped it, grabbed my pocket knife, and threw open the door. I dropped to the dirt and started sawing at the root around the tire. The wood was hard, but the blades started cutting through. Then I heard a heavy scraping sound coming from further down the dirt road. I looked back over the trunk. The tree thing was stepping out from the shadows. It walked toward us slow and steady. Its face was flat, weathered wood with deep, hollow black holes where eyes should be. My heart was hammering in my chest. The roots were only half cut, and there was not enough time. It was going to reach the car before I could free the tire. That was when my hand hit the bottom of my backpack on the ground. My fingers grabbed the small cloth pouch worth one life, only one. I did not think twice. I ripped the string off with my teeth. I threw the ash right onto the tires and into the air between us and the thing. The second the ash landed, a loud snap echoed through the trees. It sounded like a huge oak tree breaking in half. The thing stopped dead in its tracks. The roots around our tires instantly turned black, withered up, and crumbled into dust. I lunged back into the passenger seat. But just as I grabbed the door frame, I felt something that made my blood go ice cold. Right down the middle of my shirt, across my spine, a single freezing cold finger slowly drew a straight line from my neck down to my waist. I scrambled inside, slammed the door, and yelled, "Go!" My friend floored it. The tires caught gravel, and the car shot down the mountain road. Neither of us said a single word for the entire 3-hour drive back to the city. Physically, we got off Blackwood Hill without a scratch. My friend and I have never talked about that night since. We just went back to our normal routines, acting like it never happened. It has been weeks now, but I cannot shake it. Lately, I keep having the same dream. I am standing at the edge of the woods on Blackwood Hill, looking into the dark trees. I feel an intense pull to start walking back in. The worst part is not the dream, though. It is waking up. I have never sleepwalked a single day in my life. But over the last 2 weeks, I have woken up 3 different times freezing in the middle of the night. I am standing barefoot out on my front porch, staring straight down the dark road. The cashier said the ash was worth one life, but only one. I used it to save 2 of us, and the mountain knows it got cheated. Every time I wake up out on the porch in the cold air, I can still feel that ice-cold finger trace down my back, waiting to pull me back to finish it.